What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
And today's video was carefully titled Some Concerns We Have with Maverick City Music. This video is going to be a meatier than usual in that we're packing a lot into this conversation. I spent more time prepping for this video. And so just buckle in. I saw Michaela Huffman say that she's got her snacks ready. Buckle in, get your snacks, and just relax because there's a lot to unpack.
Yep, we got a lot to unpack, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't. We make videos on culture, social issues, and the church from a Christian perspective to help you have hope.
And be free. Big shout out to our patrons. Just coming off the 6-hour live stream that we did on Sunday. It was crazy. And it was awesome. I left those videos up for everyone to see, whether you tuned in live or hopped in after. I left them up for like almost 3 days. And now they're up on, just for our patrons, up on Patreon. So become a patron, you guys. Support what we're doing here on the channel. If you appreciate this content, it's a huge blessing, and our patrons are a huge part. The support you all give are a huge part of why we're able to do this. All right, Morgan. So like I said, we're going to be pulling up clips, pictures. There's a lot. I've had a little bit of correspondence with Maverick City's official Instagram. A lot to unpack. To start things off, as usual, when we tackle a topic like this, I like to give a little disclaimer. And the disclaimer for today is this. What we're sharing today, a lot of it is going to come literally from Maverick City's website, but then some of it is going to be obviously Morganized commentary. It's just our perspective. Take what you hear and do what you want. Do what you want with it. Go to the Lord in prayer. Go to His Word. Talk to other people. Sort this out. A lot of this is going to be on you guys and the convictions that you all have. But our goal, and Morgan, add on anything you want here, our goal is to at least present, because I posted some stuff on Instagram regarding this, and a number of you all were like, man, I didn't know. And up until 3 days ago, we didn't know some of this stuff.
Yeah. I think, as you guys know, we've shared in the past that we've recently, within the past year or so, started stepping away from certain worship collectives and music that we listen to regularly, and started to really hone in on who are we listening to, what do they stand for, do they genuinely have hearts for the Father, and just making sure that what we're listening to is good and fruitful and edifying.
We're being a little more careful with the worship music we listen to, with the preaching that we listen to. So yeah.
But that's not to say that, no matter what we share here, I'm not making a judgment on anyone in Maverick City saying that they don't have a heart for the Father or they're not walking with God. That's not what we're doing here today. We're not making that judgment call.
And we're not even going to be upset at all. I sure hope I'm not. I'm not going to be upset. I saw someone in the comment section before going live, and they said, I love Maverick City. If after watching this video, you completely still stand by that, I love Maverick City, and I'm going to go to their concerts and so forth, bless you in that. Bless you in that. I think we're both like that, because to us, we haven't seen anything, and I just want to establish this from the get-go. We haven't seen anything that would make us say, oh my goodness, Maverick City are a group of heretics. Run from them. We haven't seen anything like that. So that's just the facts. There might be other YouTubers that come down very hard. We're going to share some stuff that concerns us, as the title said, but nothing to that extent.
All right, let's get to it.
Love it. All right, so first things first, Morgan. How this kind of happened, about 3 days ago, I'm on Instagram, and I see someone write, I can't remember the exact direct message they sent, but it was something like, have you guys seen what Maverick City has on their website, specifically in regards to, I think, signing up for...
It's signing up for text messages and alerts from them and their texting group or whatever.
They showed a screenshot, and it was what we're about to share. Now, listen, the majority of this video and this conversation around Maverick City doesn't really have to do with this, but this is how this kind of all started. And it is something that is interesting and disappointing to me.
Yeah.
So pull up the shot, Morgan.
So this person sent us a screenshot of this stuff, but I actually went online, went to Maverick City Music, put in that I wanted to, it says like text us. So I like clicked on that. You add the number to your contact list and then you text them. So I said, hey, or something. And then they send an automatic message
Oh,
that
so
says,
you texted them first?
uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
then the automatic message.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Ooh,
And it's like, hey, we got your message. This is Maverick City Music. Click the link below to fill out this information. So this is, once I clicked on the link, this is my screenshot. This is what I found. So add your contact information. And it's got first name, last name, and then it has gender identity. Male, female, and non-binary. Prefer not to answer.
So this is literally what they're sending out to people that are signing up for their texting thread. And at first I was like, okay, I don't know how big a deal this is. Maybe they just grabbed some type of auto reply now that the world has gone woke that has non-binary, but Morgan seems to think that it is like they chose to make these the options.
Yeah, I personally feel like, and you'll see more of this when we share things that are on their website. I feel like they want to make it clear that like we accept everyone. No matter who you are, what you identify as, you're welcome in this community, and we can all worship together.
And you'll see more of why Morgan thinks that, their emphasis on diversity and bringing together the outcasts.
Yeah.
So I would assume Morgan's maybe on the right track there.
Yeah, it's a big deal in my opinion. It's a huge deal in my opinion because show me where, and maybe they have times in their service or times in a YouTube video where they're talking or whatever and they're saying, hey, like, I don't care what you identify as, the Lord sees you as a male or as a female, and you're called to be a child of the King, and like calling them out of this sin and this confusion that these people are living in. I just don't think that that's happening, but I can't speak on that confidently. I don't know, but I feel like that's probably not the case, is they're not calling people out of sin on a regular basis. They're accepting all of these people that are living in sin and just being like, yeah, you can worship and you can worship. Who cares how you're living your life?
So
just worship.
That would be the question in regards to them having the option of non-binary when you're signing up for their texting thread. The questions are, one, Maverick City, why are you asking this? Is it because of what Morgan's saying, that we are about just wanting the outcasts to come and the just inclusiveness, diversity? Mm-hmm. If that's the case, are you part of this group? Are you accepting of it? Or are you calling them out of it? Mm-hmm. And that's just a question that we're kind of left asking. Yeah. If Morgan and I were sending out an email list or a text list or whatever for Paul and Morgan, whatever, newsletter or an event that we had coming up, we would not say that. We would say, okay, we're trying to get to know who you guys are. What's your name, male or female? Or
prefer not to answer, whatever, that's fine. But to literally give an option of non-binary person, and some people are like, you can't, there are some websites where it's just, that's how it is, you can't choose. I've built enough websites in my day, I'm not amazing at it, but to know that there's absolutely, you can edit that out. Like, you get to choose your drop down menus. So, like, I just do not believe that that's the case.
All that said, I'm not wanting to dwell too much on that. That's just how this conversation got started. So from there, getting that DM, I ended up clicking on some other Instagrams, and then I just got on their website and I started looking. I looked at their kind of like, if you want to call it, mission statement, the one-liner mission statement, and then I scrolled down and looked at their About Us section. And so that's what we're going to really be focusing on, with a few other things kind of tied to that. Mm-hmm. And I just do want to say, guys, listen, I appreciate some of Maverick City's worship. I think that some of their songs are really good. I love their rendition with Chandler Moore leading the way, or he's one of the artists in it, singing Is He Worthy? That really a good song. They didn't write that song to my knowledge, but they do a great job singing it. There's other songs. I turned on the radio, K-Love, and the song Promises came on, and I was singing to it. Like, there's a place. Like, I still can appreciate it, but you do have to ask yourself, when you see concerning things, is this a music collective that I really want to seek out their music? Because yeah, that's what you're gonna have to decide. So anyway, Morgan, I ended up hopping on and pull up the next slide, which is what I would just call their mission statement. It's on their main. You just go to the about section on their main website. You have that's I think Dante Bowe, maybe.
Yeah.
He's wearing his Juneteenth shirt, and read what their
unorthodox, free spirit, rule breaker, one that breaks away from the herd.
Okay. We'll call that their mission statement. Interesting. So I read that and I'm like, okay, fair enough, but let's go on and see what they say in their about us, like the more meaty portion.
Maverick City started with a dream to make space for folk that would otherwise live in their own separate worlds, to break the unspoken rules that exist in the CCM and gospel world, but I think more importantly to be a megaphone for a community of creatives that have been pushed to the margins of the industry of church music. What brings us together and that sound that is vivaciously smacking you in the face the first time you hit play on a Maverick City track isn't the sound of a community that's centered around their deprivation. It's the audacious sound of true belonging, the beautiful harmony of long lost family.
So I'm reading that, and you guys tell me in the live chat right now or in the comment section afterwards. I'm reading that and I'm like, okay, there was nothing bad in there.
Right, nothing bad.
A dream to make space for folk that were in their separate worlds, to break unspoken rules in the gospel world. Megaphone for creatives that are pushed to the margins of church music. Vivaciously smacking you in the face. We're centered not around deprivation, but around belonging. Okay. And so I'm reading that and I'm like, let me just read. There's one more little paragraph. So let me just see before I kind of make my assessment of this. Their last, if you just scroll down a little more, their last about us statement was,
maybe now more than ever, not just the church, but the world needs a plurality of strong, diverse voices carrying messages that can help reshape the world. However, we didn't start out to be a diverse community for the sake of diversity. We simply became aware of our deep need for people that were so absent from our lives that their silence was deafening. Our response was to create space for that which we had so profoundly became aware of. Oh, they had a typo. Our need for each other. Our need for each other. They became aware of their need for each other.
So this is, guys, listen. This is, I would look at Maverick City, and I said this on my Instagram, and it got a lot of people were interested in this topic. I look at Maverick City as a worship collective, not just another CCM, Christian music artist or artists, whatever. I don't look at them as singers who are Christians. Like, this is, I turned them on in the house. We used to listen to them a lot. Like, they were one of our primary go-tos to worship. We turned that on to worship the Father.
Yeah.
So I look at them as worship artists. And then to read their about section, starting with the mission statement and in the next two paragraphs, you got lots of stuff in there about creatives, margins, push to the margins, inclusion, diversity. I said this on my Instagram, and I'm going to say it again. Where was Jesus? Where was the emphasis on Jesus? Beyond that, where was an emphasis on biblical, solid teaching in their music? Where was an emphasis on God? Where was an emphasis on giving glory to the Father? All these things, which are the ultimate act of worship through song.
Yeah.
Worship through song, praise is giving glory to the Father, praising the name of Jesus. But wait, what's in their mission statement? And it is concerning to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have different perspectives on it. Fair enough. And we're going to look at some other worship collectives or worship artists' mission statements and kind of compare. But it's like, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it's kind of, they said that their sound smacks you in the face. Their lack of Jesus smacks me in the face.
Yeah, I think it's sad, honestly. It's confusing too because I could see someone being like, but when I listen to their songs, like they're singing about God, so what does it really matter if their mission statement doesn't mention God? Their songs do. And I get that and I agree, like, is it that big of a deal? But I think like we I was listening to an interview earlier. Dante Bo was talking, and he was talking about how Maverick City is so much different than any other worship collective out there because they're so talented. And it sounded extremely cocky, but I have to agree, they're incredibly talented. But just because you're talented and just because you can write a really good song about God doesn't mean that you are walking firmly with the Father. It really just, it doesn't. And I've talked about this in my own personal experience in my life of in the past, like really struggling in deep darkness or sin or whatever, and like being able to still worship, like get on stage and lead worship because I'm talented. Like I say that in not a cocky way, but it's something that the Lord has gifted me with, is to lead a group or to sing and move people and move myself. That doesn't mean that it's the Holy Spirit. And I could spit out some spontaneous worship that was really good and moved the audience, but like deep down internally I was struggling or I was battling a sin that I hadn't confronted in my life or whatever it might have been. So yeah, I just want to say that okay, they're singing about God, that doesn't mean that they're truly, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think of the book of James where it says those who preach will be judged more harshly. And when I think about Maverick City, again, I'm saying this because they're literally one of the biggest worship collectives right now. Like,
Yeah.
at least in the country.
Yeah.
Worship collectives,
Definitely.
if they were just doing their stuff and, singing random songs, and it's like, oh, these guys have some cool songs. Oh, and they happen to be Christian. Cool. But no, these are like literally what we're moving into the throne room of God singing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find it interesting. And when I combine the mission statement, the About Us section on their website with the fact that they include, what gender are you? Are you non-binary? Like they include that option. I'm kind of like, yeah, we see that they have a mission.
Mm-hmm.
But the mission definitely, at least according to this, and we'll get into their music a little bit more here in a minute, but like according to this stuff, it's not as much Jesus focused as it is all these other things.
Yeah.
I would consider it, kind of equate what I'm seeing here with a very seeker friendly church that's all about, let's just get them in the door. Let's just love on them. Let's just encourage them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, but where's the other piece of the gospel? Let's get into the racial justice. Let's get into the social justice, and we'll wear our Juneteenth shirt on our website, and we'll say we're reaching the marginalized and inclusivity, creatives, marginalized. Fine. But this is worship. What is at the heart of worship? I'm coming back to the heart of worship, where it's, sing it with me,
all about you.
It's not about us. Oh, yeah.
Well, and also I just want to briefly say, I saw someone comment, you don't have to be perfect to be a worship leader. 1000% agree. I do not think that worship leaders must live in perfection and have it all together and never mess up or whatever. I'm just saying that if there's a common theme to a person's life and it's not God, that's questionable, why would you want them leading you in worship? If their mission statement does not even bring up Jesus Christ, the one we're worshiping, that's a red flag to me. I'm sorry, but it is. If it's not to you, that's okay. But for me, for him, it
So let
is.
me say this. I think, and this was another point I had, that they are bringing people through worship into a genuine experience with the Lord, like in their music. I do think they are. So I absolutely want to say that. I think that some of their songs are solid. And I think of the Bible verse as Morgan and I are both sharing real cautions, real concerns. I think of the Bible verse where Paul says, some preach Christ out of blank, like bad thing, literally like selfish ambition. Some preach Christ out of selfish ambition and so forth. But the main thing Paul says is that Christ is being preached. So if they are preaching Christ rightly, if they're singing songs like Is He Worthy, which to me, thinking on that song is biblically solid, if they're singing these other songs, which I'm not getting into all their songs because I'm not the biggest fan of all their songs, and I do question some theology in some of their songs. But if a good amount of their songs are biblically solid, as Paul said in the Bible, the main thing is that God is being preached. So I think that people are coming into these worship experiences and being blessed, and maybe people that don't know Christ are coming and being blessed. So I want to give kudos to that. I want to bless Maverick City in that regard while still kind of giving them a challenge or a gentle rebuke. I think that's fair, the checks and balances. But while giving a gentle rebuke, I do want to bless them in that and say, even though I myself might not go seeking out their music because of my concerns, I bless you guys, and I pray that the Lord bears good fruit through you.
Yeah.
So yesterday, I was talking about some of this stuff on Instagram, and someone wrote and said, would you consider trying to reach out to some of these groups? The person, I figured they would say, like, you should reach out to Maverick City, but they said, like, you guys being kind of influential in the Christian YouTube space, have you considered just reaching out to some of these groups? So I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and reach out to Maverick City. They're a big Instagram account. It's
over 1 million followers.
I don't know who's running their account, but that seems like fair enough. Like I want to leave, if Maverick City, if Dante Bowe or Chandler Moore were to watch this video, I want to leave the line of communication open, and I invite that. So I went ahead and messaged them. And so this is a direct message on Instagram. I want to be careful when talking about direct messages because it's not, everyone can't see that. It's not like the comment section.
Yeah.
But I feel personally, and I was talking to Morgan about this before, okay to share this because there was nothing in this brief back and forth that we've had that is personal.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'll just share with you guys what I said and how they responded. So Morgan, if you just want to pull that up. How are you guys doing real quick? How about this? There's been a lot already. There's a lot coming at you all. I'm sure there's 375 watching live right now and commenting. There's some people that love Maverick City and probably are kind of sad to hear this or are pushing back and feel like we're in the wrong. Fair enough. How are you guys doing right now? Hop out of the live chat. Take 2 seconds, literally 2.5 seconds. Give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying this and you feel like this is important for more people to see. I see lots of chatting going on in the live chat. Love that. You guys have helpful back and forths.
Yeah.
This is good. All right.
All right. Paul said, you want to read it or you want me to?
Sure. I'm on Instagram right now. So this was yesterday. It's their main Maverick City Music Instagram with 1.3 million followers. I didn't really expect to get a message back, but I said, hey guys. And this is after posting a handful of things to my Instagram. So it was just kind of like, sure, I'll just let them know that I'm talking about them. Sharing some stuff that I'm seeing on their website. So I said, hey guys, I've posted some stuff to my story concerning some things I've observed about your guys' website / mission statement. Thought I'd reach out. I was reading over your About Me section and didn't notice much of a focus.
thunder. Scared squishy.
Thunder really scares dogs. I was reading over your About Me section and didn't notice much of a focus on Jesus or the gospel. Have you thought about updating it to put more emphasis on Jesus? I'm curious. Thanks. And part of the reason why I said, have you thought about updating it, was because I'm thinking, okay, maybe 5 years ago or whenever they kind of started, they were like, here's what we're going to do. And then they kind of
led into, oh, wow, we're like full-time worship collective leaders
here. I think it's a fair statement. You guys might think that's a goofy way to put it, but I'm literally like, have you thought about updating it to make it more worship oriented? And then they wrote back maybe an hour later.
And they said, you right? They sent a little like emoji. Y'all can see it. It's like a little gif. Like, you right? If you are interested in having a holistic conversation about Maverick, then check out our full mission here. We're open to answering any questions you have. So we got on this link, the MCM initiative.
So I'm thinking like this might be a page that dives into their doctrinal statements.
Yeah.
Their core beliefs.
Yeah.
It was a good page, but it's all about, if you go to this website, it's all about, what do they call it? Maverick
City Music Initiative.
Where it's kind of like what they're doing for the community.
Which is great.
That is awesome.
It's a nonprofit organization, like, doing really cool things.
That's what it is. So,
but it had nothing to do with what Paul asked. So it was weird.
Yeah, so they say, you write, if you're interested in having a holistic conversation about Maverick, check out our full mission here. And unless I'm missing something, and you guys like let me know if
I looked all over that website, because I was like, okay, like surely like they're somewhere on this website it's gonna like give the doctrinal statement or say something about like God, and it didn't. Really.
I'm not feeling entitled like I need again, I was kind of surprised they even wrote back.
Yeah.
But it's like, if they are going to respond, it just felt kind of like a shrug off. Like,
yeah,
okay, you right. Here you go. Take this. Go chew on your bone. No, and I'm saying this in love and just whatever. But because I'm not holding it against them, but it is a little sad to me that it's like, okay, this person is expressing concerns about our About Us section, our mission statement. Here you go. Just check out the...
Give him a totally different website that has nothing to do with the website he's talking about.
Check out what we're doing for the community.
Yeah.
Great. So anyway, I responded.
It's really cool that you guys have the nonprofit going on. I guess I'm still confused about your website for your worship collective.
Real quick, Morgan, I'm sorry. Did you show where it said, we're open to answering any questions you have? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They said, yeah.
What would you all say is the reasoning behind not emphasizing God or Jesus on Maverick City Music's worship collective's website? They saw it and didn't respond.
Well, so it says they saw that 16 hours ago. Again, who knows? Like,
yeah,
maybe they'll respond an hour after we get,
mm-hmm.
Finish going live here. That would be cool if they do. I don't feel like I'm owed a response, but nevertheless, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, look, they saw it and I posted this. I'm not trying to stir up drama. It's just the reality.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of sitting in suspense right now.
We reached out and that's what happened. I'm
What are your thoughts?
Thankful that Paul reached out. I think that we were talking to a friend from Remnant Radio.
Remnant.
And we got to have lunch with one of them, and it was a really good time. And something he said was that, anytime they're going to make a video speaking on something maybe a pastor said or a worship person said, that he will message them and give the opportunity, open that door to have unity and like have a conversation and invite them on the channel. And I thought that was really good. And there are going to be times when we discuss Hailey Bieber and she's never going to see our message, but just attempting to be like, hey, saw this, it's interesting, I'm concerned, like, what are your thoughts? And maybe they'll respond, maybe they won't, but I think it's cool just to open that door. And if Maverick wants to respond, or if any of them watch this video and want to respond, like, by all means, please do, let's talk about it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. So anyway, then I saw someone kind of as I'm posting this to Instagram, not that particular back and forth with Maverick City, but I did some question boxes saying like, what do you guys think? And I'm going to read some of your all's responses. What do you guys think about just my concerns with their website?
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, you guys should watch like them talk about the origins of Maverick City. Maybe that would kind of put you at ease a little more. So I just YouTube like Maverick City origin story or how Maverick City got started. And one of the first videos was an interview they did with CCM magazine, I think.
Which this is a pretty, I mean, 8 months ago. It's relatively new, honestly, interview. I'm sure that there are other interviews out there from when they really first started kind of
Yeah,
growing.
I didn't look very long. I was just like, well, maybe it talks about a conversation with Maverick City. Maybe they'll talk about kind of how it got started. And they did a little bit. They talked about what it was like for them coming into Maverick City and the growth of Maverick City.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe, they're going to really get into how the Lord, like their focus is on the Lord and so forth. And it wasn't. I'm just being honest. You guys can go watch this video. You can look it up.
Mm-hmm.
It was not that great of a video. I didn't watch that and then be like, oh, shoo. Okay, my concerns from their website are not warranted. The video was just kind of more of the same.
Yeah, it was hit and miss.
It was okay. I'm not bashing the video. It was okay. But one thing I noticed about the video, deeper down the rabbit trail. What is the Matrix quote? Let's see how far this rabbit trail goes. Neo. But they started talking about their Juneteenth album coming up, and I think it was.
We have nothing against Juneteenth. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. If anyone wants to celebrate that day, I think it's a great day to celebrate.
I'm specifically talking about it in regards to Dante Bowe.
Yeah.
He brought up their Juneteenth album, how excited they were, and he started sharing artists that were going to be on the Juneteenth album. And so I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let's hear the artists. This is, again, Maverick City is not just some band that sings some Christian music. This is one of the main worship collectives. Or else I would be more chill about this.
Yes.
And if I'm wrong in putting them in a box or genre they don't mean to be in, fine. But to me, it's like they're happy to be in this genre, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
So Dante Bowe.
This is on them.
You guys tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Bowe said, here's some artists that we very intentionally decided to collab with. They used the word intentionally a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And they started going down the list, and some of the artists were good and solid. But a few of them I was just like, not to be mean, some of you guys are going to get on me, but they were collabing with Lecrae, who I have some concerns about. Him becoming more woke.
Mm-hmm. But to me, that's just an obvious choice that they're going to have.
They've toured with Lecrae, fair enough. But they had Sierra,
yeah, that's super, just like, what?
The artist Sierra, who she's married to Russell Wilson, the quarterback, and he's claims to be a Christian. I'm sure she claims to be a Christian, but if you look at her branding and her music career, very sensual.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to the Juneteenth album. I don't know if you've heard any of it.
I don't think so.
Again, this stuff is not to just be like, so we are writing them off because of this, but it is just to bring awareness to this is who Maverick City is. Kind of unashamedly on their website, this is who we are, and maybe who they are not.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Let's see. So let's go ahead and just pull up some of the different worship collectives about me, because I had two people that wrote in and said, well, okay, Paul, listen. Yes, they didn't say anything about Jesus in their bio or about me section, but if you look at other music artists about me, you're not going to find much about Jesus in there. So I was like, well, let's look at these artists that Morgan and I have been getting more into.
Mm-hmm.
And who are a few of those artists, Morgan?
City of Light, Sovereign Grace.
Those are kind of two.
Yeah, those are kind of the two that we're starting to listen to. There's several others that our
Ap-
friend Genevieve listed on her Instagram.
After we made our last video from several weeks ago, and maybe I can link that below, just sharing how we're struggling with worship music, we had people comment the artists they like, and lots of people said, here's some solid artists. And they mentioned City of Light, Sovereign Grace, I think
Yeah.
Matt Papa, some of these different ones. So here was how the About Me section of Sovereign Grace worship, and I thought we could just go ahead and put it side by side with the About Me section of, if you can find it, Maverick Cities. Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah, so just put them side by side.
Bye, Paul.
That's okay. Can you hear my voice? Come towards my voice.
Went tiny. All right. The mission of Sovereign Grace Music is to produce Christ-exalting songs and training for the churches from our local churches. What? We call it sound and doctrine. Oh, like sound doctrine, but...
Oh, that's good.
But sound and
good.
Doctrine. Do you want me to keep reading?
You read a little more.
Okay, we've been doing it for 35 years now, primarily to serve Sovereign Grace churches, a family of churches joined together by a statement of faith, 7 shared values, and a common mission to plant churches in the gospel. We're happy that our songs are reaching a broader audience and want to join the many others who are encouraging biblically informed, heartfelt, spirit-empowered singing in the church. Like Charles Wesley, we wish we had 1,000 tongues to sing our great Redeemer's praise. We pray the songs we write will produce the same desire in you, your family, and your church for the never-ending glory of God.
So, guys, just think on that for a minute. How did that mission statement, that About Us section, compare with Maverick Cities?
Look, I understand that, and I don't know if Sovereign Grace, I don't even know what I just read, like I do, but I don't. Are they a part of a church, like where they formed in a church and then just started getting bigger? Because Maverick City, literally, they did not start, as far as I know, connected to a church at all. It was just a group of people that live in different states all over the country that they were like, let's do this.
And that's where I'm like, you guys maybe if you started in one place, and Naomi said, she was like, we just started as singing worship to God on our own in this video I watched, and now it's big and we get recognized in airports. Mm-hmm. Maybe update your About Us to talk now like this is how we started, and now here's where we are to glorify Jesus. Again, the beginning of this Sovereign Grace, the mission of Sovereign Grace music is to produce Christ-exalting songs and training for church, blah, blah, blah. We call it sound doctrine.
Sound and doctrine.
Sound and doctrine. Okay. Christ-exalting songs. Like, it's right off the bat. Pull up another one. Pull up Shane and Shane, because a lot of people were mentioning Shane and Shane.
Shane and Shane is the combination of solo artists Shane Bernard and Shane Everett. After meeting in college, Shane and Shane began writing songs and touring the country, leading worship. Over 15 years later, they're writing more music than ever with no intention of slowing down. Their desire has always been to glorify the Lord instead of themselves, and they do so by writing music that is biblically based, lyrically rich, and sonically engaging. Check out their discography.
You can end it there. I mean, guys.
It's just so much better. I'm sorry, but it is.
And listen, like, maybe the people that wrote me and said a lot of these other worship collectives don't mention Jesus. I didn't look up Elevation Worship or Hillsong. I don't know, but I'm just referring to ones.
We looked up Bethel.
We did look up Bethel. Let's hear what Bethel has to say.
Bethel is a worship movement that exists to lead people's hearts into profound experiences with God's presence that fuels personal, regional, and global revival. Even theirs, you guys.
Even Bethel, who, we have concerns with Bethel. But even Bethels exist to experience. We feel like maybe they're a little too experience oriented. I feel like that. But it's still God's presence. Global revival.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, some of you guys still might walk away from this and be like, oh, they're just so overthinking it. And we're totally okay with you guys thinking that. These are things that we saw as red flags, as concerning, as I don't know, just yeah.
Well, okay, so I was talking to a pastor friend. Here's to come back on the other side a little bit. I was talking to a pastor friend, awesome guy, yesterday over brunch, and he said he did say, there should be checks and balances with these worship groups. There is a place to call out. But he said, did you know, Paul, that
Mm-hmm.
some of the big hymns from back in the day, and when we think of hymns, we think of like biblically sound doctrine
Mm-hmm.
to the point where they might be even a little dry because it's like so solid, but musically it might get a little,
Yeah.
we're coming to like hymns more. But he said some of the biggest hymns were written by people. He mentioned It Is Well With My Soul.
Yeah.
Powerful song, amazing story behind it, tragic, but turning to the Lord, saying, It is well with my soul, even when awful tragedy happens. The guy who wrote that 10 years later became a giant heretic. And so it's like, what? And I don't know, did you guys know that in the live chat?
Yeah, does that mean we can't sing It Is Well
It
anymore?
Is Well is a powerful song. Or I think of like the Songs of Solomon or Ecclesiastes. Solomon fell away because of all the wives, and we're not sure if he came back, to my knowledge. But there's still powerful stuff you can learn. There's still powerful verses in this It Is Well song.
Yeah.
And most people watching on here, even maybe like the doctrinal watchdogs and heresy hunters that come down super hard, would probably say, oh, I love the song It Is Well. What do we do with that? Or he mentioned another like famous figure and writer of these hymns that had just these major red flags, but we still sing the hymns.
Yeah.
What do we do with that?
Yeah. I think it's a discernment and a conviction thing. And again, we'll say it again, if you walk away and you don't feel convicted, like continuing to listen to Maverick City, that's totally okay. And that's your decision and your walk with the Lord. You've got to figure that out. But yeah, I think that just goes for each of us is Lord, give us discernment, give us your wisdom, and convict us where we need to be convicted.
100%. 100%. So here's what a few of you guys said on Instagram when I gave you the question box and said, what do you all think about all this? What do you think about Maverick City's website and so forth? Someone wrote in and said, could this be a sign of deconstruction? I wonder. In regards to what they wrote there. I don't know if I would go that far.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far.
But
I know that there are artists and people who are like, we're just being super intentional with how we talk about God when we mention God because we want to bring these people in and then like let the music do the speaking.
mm-hmm.
So I get that there's that, like, I think that's a terrible way to go.
Oh.
But I guess, but also it's like you're a worship collective. Like you're literally on the radio on Caleb. You're
maybe
obviously Christian.
let like the singer-songwriters that are appealing, like maybe let that be more theirs.
Right. But if you're literally on the radio, you should probably start declaring all over the place that you love the Lord.
Someone else said they need to update what they're about and pray for wisdom around how to put God first. Mm-hmm. Someone said it looks like they are wanting to attract the world rather than being set apart from the world. Someone said if in doubt, don't. But yeah, it makes me very uneasy. Chandler's posts say enough for me.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, and we won't get into this, but there are just several people from Maverick City. We've talked about Chandler Moore's, some of his posts and in the past, and there are other people who are posting things and doing things and going to parties and hanging out with certain people. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Why do you look so much like the world? What's going on?
We're not questioning their salvation. Mm-hmm. And in many respects, I don't necessarily want my life, like obviously all our lives are open before the Lord and we should have accountability and people that can speak into us. I don't necessarily want every inch of my life put on public display. You guys are going to be judging me for different things. I get that. But that's what this person said. Someone said here, though, they said they are honest, they're gospel focused, listen to any song, and it's okay to want to rep diversity. And I do think some of their songs, maybe even most of their songs, are pretty stinking good. Would you agree with that?
I'd have to go back and listen to a good amount of them.
They may be a little heavy on the grace, heavy on the encouragement, but
Heavy on the there's nothing I could do to let you down.
to let you down. And yeah, you know, we're all perfect just the way we are. But there's some solid lyrics in there, and there's some glory, giving glory to God.
Yeah.
So the fact that they ask if you are non-binary when you join their text club says it all.
Yeah.
Last one. I think it, or two more. I think it's a bait for the outcasts and all to come and worship Jesus. Kind of what you were saying just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of doing it as a way to almost trick people into worshiping God by bringing the...
Yeah, that to me, first of all, who the heck is going to somebody's website? Like, hardly anyone. So, if someone is listening, like, if someone knows who Maverick City is, it's probably because they heard them. They heard a worship song. So then they're like, I'm going to check out who these people are. And they get on their website and they see nothing about God. To me, that's like a, wait, now you're like, almost like, what? It's confusing.
So all that said, I think I can speak for both of us. Correct me, Morgan, if I'm wrong. I think we can, if I'm driving and a Maverick City song comes on, I can worship the Lord. Like, I can worship the Lord to almost anything, you know, especially when the lyrics are good. So I can crank up the song, worship the Lord to it. I can encourage the fruit of Maverick City while perhaps not. But even this, it's tough because I want to be careful because sometimes they can do a lot of damage. And some of these seeker-friendly churches that are health, wealth, and prosperity, or all these different, like, there's some real damage being done. So I don't just want to gloss over this.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I'm at a place right now where there are certain artists, worship artists, whatever, that I can't listen to. I don't feel like I can worship to them.
Would you say they're in that category? Choose your words. Choose your words.
I would say yes, they are for me. But again, it's okay if they're not for you. Like, it's fine.
Fair enough. And I
That's just where I'm at.
Appreciate you being honest, Morgan. And I'm encouraging you guys, go with your convictions. Where are you at right now? There's where Morgan's at. I would say I can still, if a song was played at our church, because I know our church, even though they play more of like the hymn, really like doctrinally safe songs, they occasionally play Bethel, and I worship to it, and I worship my butt off because God deserves it. Like, I can still worship to that. I can still worship to a Maverick City song and crank it up in the car. For me personally, I can, and I still think they are walking with the Lord, even if their walks maybe look more worldly or maybe are in some stuff that we wouldn't necessarily be super down with. You guys use your discernment. Comment below, because this video was packed. Maverick City, if any of the, because I know that there has been, I won't mention names and stuff, but someone from Maverick City who's watched one of our previous videos. If anyone watches this video and wants to have dialogue, by all means, let's talk about it. Comment below, guys, where you're at on this topic and the stuff that was brought to light and shared in this video. We want to know. Keep the conversation going. All right, guys. Love you all. Have hope.
And be free. If you're in the live chat, we'll be right back.
As you may have noticed, we get very few brand deals, which is why our patrons, the names you see here, are so important.
You guys really are the lifeblood of this ministry. We could not do this without you all. If you believe in this content and you want to partner with us on Patreon, click the link below or just go to patreon.com/paulandmorganshow.